Welcome. In this first outcome, we look at how to research well using digital tools, finding trustworthy sources, using them properly, and referencing them so your work stands up to scrutiny. Let's start with what you're actually being asked to do here. It's about finding good information with the right digital tools rather than a quick web search, choosing sources that are genuinely academic, and then using them in your own words and referencing them properly. Do that consistently, and it becomes a habit that carries through every unit of your course. So why does ICT matter so much for research? At its simplest, ICT just means the digital tools you use to find, store, and share information, and they open doors that a single campus library never could. You can search millions of sources in seconds, reach journals from anywhere, and keep studying under your own steam when a tutor isn't there. Good habits with these tools save you time and lift the quality of what you produce. A few terms worth pinning down. ICT is information and communication technology, the digital tools for finding, storing, creating, and sharing information. A digital library is your college's online collection of books and journals that it pays for on your behalf, while a database like eBesco or ProQuest is a searchable store of academic articles. And an e-journal is simply a scholarly journal published online, full of peer-reviewed research. Let's talk about where you should actually be looking. Start with your institution's digital library and reading lists, then move into academic databases such as eBesco, ProQuest, or JSTOR for peer-reviewed articles. E-journals and e-books give you full academic texts in your subject, and reputable organizations, government bodies, the NHS, professional associations, round it out. These are a world away from whatever a general search engine throws at you first. More vocabulary to get straight. A recognized academic source is material produced or checked by experts, peer-reviewed journals, academic e-books, official statistics. Peer review is that quality check where other experts scrutinize research before it's published. And it's worth knowing the difference between a primary source, which is original first-hand evidence, like a study or a data set, and a secondary source, which discusses or interprets that evidence, like a textbook. So how do you tell whether something really counts as a recognized source? Look for a named author with genuine expertise and a credible publisher, a university, a journal, a government, or a professional body. Check there's a date so you can judge how current it is, see whether it cites its own evidence, and confirm it's been reviewed before publication. Tick those boxes and you're on solid ground. It helps to see the two extremes side by side. On the reliable side, you've got peer-reviewed journal articles, academic e-books from university presses, official statistics from the ONS, professional body guidance, and named authors with real credentials. On the risky side sit anonymous blogs and forum posts, Wikipedia used as a final source, undated sites with no author, and increasingly, an AI chatbot answer taken as fact. Learn to spot which column something falls into. Let's walk through choosing sources for a real task, researching how remote working affects well-being. You'd log into your digital library, search for remote working and well-being, and filter to peer-reviewed, full-text results. From there, you might land a peer-reviewed article from an occupational health journal, an academic e-book chapter on flexible working, and official home working statistics from the ONS. An unsigned blog post gets rejected because it has no author and no evidence, and you're left with 3 genuinely recognized sources. Searching a database well is a skill in itself. Before you type anything, pull 2 or 3 keywords out of your question. Put exact phrases in quotation marks, something like climate anxiety, and use and, or, and not to widen or narrow what comes back. Then apply filters for date, peer review, and full text, and save or export anything useful so you don't have to find it twice. Before you trust a source, run it through 5 quick checks. Authority: who wrote it, and are they qualified? Accuracy: is it backed by evidence and references? Currency: how recent is it, and does that matter for your topic? Purpose: is it there to inform, or to sell, or persuade? And objectivity: is it balanced or clearly pushing an agenda? Those 5 questions will catch most weak sources. Here's a common situation. A viral post quotes a striking statistic about student debt. Should it go in your assignment? First, check the account. Is it an expert, an organization, or an anonymous user? Then trace the claim back to see whether it links to a credible original, and if it does, cite that original, say a government report, not the post itself. If there's no traceable source behind it, don't use it. Treat social media as a signpost, never as evidence. Let's pause and check what's landed. Can you name 3 recognized electronic academic sources you could actually use? Can you give 2 questions you'd ask to evaluate a source? And can you say why you should never cite a viral post as your evidence? Have a think before we move on. Once you've found a good source, you need to extract from it efficiently. Read the abstract or summary first to check it's actually relevant. Then skim the headings and topic sentences to find the key points. Note only what answers your question. Resist copying everything, and record the page number for every point you take. And keep the full source details straight away, so building your reference list later is painless. Finding information is only half the job. Using it well is the other half. Put ideas into your own words to show you've understood them, and explain how each point links to your argument rather than leaving it hanging. Compare your sources against each other, instead of listing them one by one. And always show why the evidence matters, not just what it says. Save direct quotes for the rare moments when the exact wording really counts. There are 3 ways to bring a source into your writing. A quote is the author's exact words in quotation marks, used when the precise wording matters. A paraphrase restates a single idea in your own words, which shows you've understood it. And a summary condenses the main points of a whole source into a brief overview. All 3 need a citation, and in academic work, paraphrasing is usually the one you'll reach for most. Let's turn a bare fact into a proper academic paragraph using point, evidence, explain, link. Start with your point. Say that remote working can harm well-being if it isolates people. Then give the evidence, paraphrase your source, and cite it, for example, Denscom, 2017. Explain what that evidence actually shows and why it matters, then link it back to your overall question. Finally, check the citation matches an entry in your reference list. That structure turns a dropped-in fact into a contextualized argument. A cluster of referencing terms to know. A citation is the short note in your text showing where an idea came from, like Cottrell, 2019. The reference list is the full alphabetical list of every source you cited, sitting at the end of your work. Harvard style is the author and date system used widely across UK higher education. And plagiarism is using someone's words or ideas without crediting them. A serious academic offense you'll want to avoid at all costs. Referencing in Harvard has 2 halves that always go together. Every source needs an in-text citation and a full reference. In the text, you give the author's surname and the year, like Bailey, 2017. In the reference list, you give the full details, alphabetically by surname. For online sources, add the URL and the date you accessed it, and above all, be consistent with your punctuation, italics, and order. Let's build a Harvard reference for an academic ebook, Stella Cottrell's The Study Skills Handbook, 5th edition, 2019. Begin with the surname and initial Cottrell, S. Add the year in brackets, then the title in italics. Next comes the edition. Place and publisher, 5th edition, London, Red Globe Press, and for an ebook, you'd add the access details if you read it online. Put together, it reads, Cottrell, S. 2019, The Study Skills Handbook, 5th edition, London, Red Globe Press. Websites follow the same logic with a couple of extra pieces. Take an online referencing guide from Citing Them Right Online. You give the authors, Peers and Shields, then the year, then the title in italics. After that, you state that it's available online and give the web address, citethemright.com, and finally, the date you viewed it. The access date matters because web pages change, and you're recording exactly what you saw and when. It's not enough to use good sources. You should be able to justify each one. Be ready to point to authority, the author's expertise, or the publisher's standing. Point to relevance, how it answers your particular question, and point to currency, how recent and appropriate it is. It's also worth noting why you rejected weaker sources you came across, because that shows real judgment, not just luck. A word on AI tools, because they're now part of the landscape. Used well, they can help you brainstorm, explain a tricky idea, or plan your work if your provider allows it. Generating ideas, summarizing your own notes, or checking grammar is generally fine. Submitting AI-written text as your own or inventing evidence is not. Remember that AI can produce confident-sounding false facts and even fake references, so always verify and always follow your organization's policy. So, how do you declare AI use properly? First, check your organization's policy for exactly what needs stating. Add a short note explaining how you use the tool, for instance, to brainstorm ideas, and give the tool, the company, the year, and the date you used it. Never pass AI output off as evidence or as your own writing, and keep a copy of your prompt in case your tutor asks. A reference might read, Anthropic, 2026, Claude, a large language model, available at claude.ai, accessed the 4th of August, 2026. Let's draw the line clearly. Acceptable uses, when declared, include having a concept explained to you, getting keyword suggestions for a search, checking your own writing for grammar, or help planning a structure. Unacceptable uses include submitting AI text as your own, relying on facts or quotes the AI invented, citing sources you haven't actually read, and hiding that you used a tool at all. The honest test is simple. Would you be comfortable telling your tutor exactly how you used it? Time for another quick check. Could you write a full Harvard reference for any academic book on your shelf right now? Can you give 2 reasons you might use to justify choosing a particular source? And can you state 1 acceptable and 1 unacceptable use of an AI tool? If those come easily, you've got the essentials of this outcome.